Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today I've got more Battlefield footage captured from the floor of E3, and I want to talk about something that I haven't seen too many people address yet in regards to Battlefield 4, and that's vehicles. Customizing them, what kind of weapons they get, how the new vehicle customization system works, because it's different from Battlefield 3. Now the system in Battlefield 3 was less than perfect for, say, outfitting a tank with proximity and armor. The way you had to do it is you had to have the guy who was driving the tank have armor as his customization, and the guy who was gunning the tank have proximity. If they switched up spots, then the driver would employ proximity and the gunner could not employ armor. So it was kind of a silly system where, depending on what seats you were in, the tank could fluctuate in terms of its effectiveness. If the gunner just switches to the driver's seat, all of a sudden the tank loses its armor capabilities, and you can't really switch up in the heat of battle, otherwise you start to lose some of your perks. And that was just kind of a weird, unfortunate system. Well, luckily they've overhauled it completely for Battlefield 4. Here's the main battle tank customization screen, and I've got the primary weapon selected. Currently it's on a 120mm armor-piercing shell, does devastating direct damage, and damages infantry near impact. The shell was pretty effective when I was using it. It felt very similar to the standard gun in Battlefield 3. We also have high explosive shells as an option. These shells fly slower and deal more damage to an armored target. The description doesn't really describe anything about the splash damage on infantry, so that's something we'll have to see about. For the secondary, we have the coaxial light machine gun. Now in Battlefield 3 we also have heavy machine gun as an option. Just because you don't see it here in the menu doesn't mean it's not coming. Again, this is pre-alpha footage. Most of the stuff isn't in the game yet. I did have time to test out the coaxial LMG, and it's got unlimited ammo and it's very effective at taking out infantry. Here is the infrared smoke countermeasure, pretty much identical in description to the one in Battlefield 3. You'll notice that it's located in the countermeasure section, and it'll be curious to see if perhaps infrared smoke is one of the countermeasure options and reactive armor is another countermeasure option. Because reactive armor does seem a bit like a countermeasure. I believe it would be classified as a countermeasure, so you might have to choose between IR smoke or armor. Only one option in the optics area, that's zoom optics. I imagine we'll be getting something like infrared or night vision later. Currently, the only thing to select for the upgrade slot is maintenance, which makes the time between taking damage and automatic repairs much shorter. I'm very interested to see what other options they have for the upgrade slots, perhaps increased mobility or something along that nature. Now here's the big change for Battlefield 4. Rather than just having to have universal upgrades for your tank, some of which work in the gunner seat and some of which don't, now the gunners have their own specific upgrades. Zoom optics is one of them. You also have infrared optics, and proximity scanner is now designated as a gunner upgrade. This is awesome, and I don't believe you're going to get that as an option for the driver seat. So if you want that proxy scanner, you're going to have a gunner. Now when it comes to attack helicopters, we have some cool new weapons that have been confirmed. First of all, the Hydra rocket pods are kind of the standard rocket pod, very similar to the ones in Battlefield 3. But then you also have the option to switch over to the Zuni rocket pods, which are slow, powerful anti-infantry rockets. Now I did equip these and try playing with them, and unfortunately they just weren't in the game yet, so I ended up flying around with no primary weapon. Then of course we have heat seekers, and unfortunately I didn't get to capture this gameplay, but I did have some very long helicopter runs where I shot down multiple transport and attack helicopters. They seem to work very much the same way they do in Battlefield 3. Now of course we only have IR flares in the countermeasure slot. It's not to say that ECM won't be in the game at final launch. One interesting thing, and again thanks to Dasgro for helping me research the game a bit on the floor, he was trying to shoot down an attack helicopter with the Stinger missiles in the game, and he said that the attack heli was able to countermeasure every single one of his heat seekers and none of them hit. So it's possible that they've just kind of copy and pasted the Battlefield 3 mechanics for the alpha, and that it might change by launch, but so far in the current state of the game, the mechanics seem to be the same. Again, we have an upgrades area for the vehicle. Here we have stealth, which is exactly the same it is in Battlefield 3. We'll see if there's something else in there. Again, like increased maneuverability would be very cool. Very much like in Battlefield 3, the gunner also has 3 upgrade areas. Here we have guided missile, we have zoom optics, or the option between infrared optics as well, and then autoloader is the only one in the gunner upgrade slot, making you reload a lot faster. The big difference in how you outfit your chopper in Battlefield 4 versus Battlefield 3 is that the pilot gets an extra customization slot so you can equip stuff like stealth and infrared flares, and the gunner now has stuff like autoloader, so it doesn't seem like you're going to be overlapping vehicle perks with the attack helicopter anymore. Let's talk about the patrol boats. These things are absolutely devastating on the battlefield. Again, I wish I had the footage of me getting in boat duels and taking out jet skis and even taking out tanks on the main land with these things. It's no longer a situation of boats being these adorable little things that are just kind of food for aircraft and tanks. They can now defend themselves very well. So let's talk about the weapon setup. The driver gets to control the primary weapon and a secondary weapon. The default one is a 30mm high explosive shell that does heavy damage against infantry and light armor targets, perfect for battling other boats or infantry on the shore. Now let's take a look at this burst shell. This thing fires 10-round bursts, and it can take out aircraft and other light armored vehicles. So this thing can defend itself against the air. This thing also has two secondary weapons that are incredibly powerful. The first one is the ATGM guided anti-tank missile. This thing blows the heck out of armor. I took out a tank with this. I took out another patrol boat. They do massive amounts of damage. I don't believe that they'll one-shot a vehicle, but I think they can one-shot disable a vehicle. Although I'm pretty sure they can one-shot any sort of Jeep. And as if all this stuff wasn't enough, now we have the option to outfit it with anti-air missiles. Imagine equipping your primary with the burst fire anti-air machine gun, and then we have the anti-air missiles to back that up. You can basically turn these boats into a highly maneuverable anti-air platform that have their own escape pods. They even come with their own countermeasure section with infrared smoke. You can have zoom optics if you like. There's an upgrade package. The current one is maintenance. I'm sure all of these sections are going to have multiple options as well, so you can really just customize the heck out of these boats. I gotta say, the time that I spent driving these things around the Shanghai map, which isn't really dominated by water by any means, I was still able to be incredibly effective with these. Did I mention that they have giant miniguns on either side of the boat that are incredibly effective for taking out light armor and infantry as well? These things are just battle machines. No longer are the boats going to be the laughing stock of the Battlefield series. They are now going to be highly feared, highly mobile platforms of destruction. Anyway, that wraps it up for this vehicle customization video. There's still plenty of more information about the Battlefield 4 Alpha, so stay tuned if you're interested for that. Thanks for watching, as always, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.